Arba finally got the courage to say how she feels to Solomon after like 10 to 20 chapters of her being in Almataran. So I gotta say, this chapter, very comedy heavy and a lot of character development as well. Definitely for Sheba and Arba in this major part. And Solomon, all three of them had some major character development in this chapter. Like, finding from the start of this chapter that we know that Sheba, she was abandoned by her parents in front of, like, church to be raised up by the Orthodox magicians. And what I really liked about it, like, it showed a little bit back from the past. When she first came in there, she felt like Solomon and Arba was like a mother and a father figure to her, and that's sort of what changed her from like the really outcast or like hating the other species, cursing them. And once she finally really, sort of like a motherly and fatherly love, she actually started to change. And I felt for like her then. It was like, that's kind of most of this kid just growing up. And Solomon, when he came back from one of the missions, this is back in current timeline, and we got a confirmation as well on how old Solomon at this time. He is about 22 years old. Angry that the other species was starting building statues of him, and he started thinking them as gods. And I was like, really? I was like, and he starts smashing them down. It's like Solomon is making sure that he's not like his father. He doesn't want that god complex. That is because it's like. One thing that he said that he was really, which was really interesting, that he's like, yeah, he's very flawed at, is that he was jealous of Falan and Wahid, which is the Dunya-looking girl and the guy with like the his eyes covered up, finding out that they're married. He's jealous of that. He's never felt, although a woman was like love before, he's never felt that way. And then also as well for Seta and Ethnan, which those two are brothers, or I've been hearing as well step brothers. I don't know if they're blood related or not, but they consider themselves like proper closest brothers. And they're saying, I'm jealous of the, your family bond, and then also as well you two being married, having a child. And he never experienced love from his father or anyone else, and that he's jealous of that. And he's like, it shows like how flawed it was. They had to show like Solomon. He says, you need to show me my flaws and all that, because Solomon can go crazy from the looks of it if he doesn't have anyone supporting him, which is what Sheba and Arba come into this chapter. And when he's saying like, oh, maybe you should get a wife or something, or maybe you should marry somebody, saying, or have a child, it's like, nah, I don't want that to do with a child. Besides, we've got, Sheba, as one, and she got super butthurt by that. And because you know how she feels about like Solomon, she's like, I really care for this guy, and they've been treated as a kid, so it doesn't look like Solomon at all looks at Sheba in a romantic way at all. And when Arba, which brought up the shocking question of that, saying, Arba asked Sheba to become Solomon's wife. I was like, what? I thought it was going to be, a way of saying, I'm going to marry Solomon, I'm going to want to make him happy, I want you to be support. But I was shocked about this. He's saying, and this is something what was really interesting about this chapter, saying that he may be a strong magician, but he hasn't got a strong student. He needs someone who doesn't overlook his flaws or his problems, and he still needs to think that he's human inside and not like his father. Like, it starts to sound like Solomon could potentially be having a god complex, because he knows how powerful he is, but he's on the off the chain sort of powerful, where he needs people like that to keep him intact. The reason why Arba was with her, because she's the oldest out of the entire group, is that when she was asked about all this, it's like, like she was actually meant by the Orthodox just to keep Solomon like company, and it's like she was actually the one sort of to get Solomon out of that way. It was also thanks to the dragon as well, and she was saying like, I'm gonna do that, but we're both gonna be his supports. Like one like will be able to like when he needs to be brutal and ferocious, that will be me. I will support him during those bad times, and it's like, when Solomon doesn't need to show compassion, I will be there. I will be the, that dark messenger for him. And while he's like sort of losing himself and, he's on the verge of breaking down, that's where I will be. He needs a wife, someone he can care about, that significant other, to keep him, from falling down into the... And it was really hinting at the, like, one page when Sheba looks like an angel of look, and Arba looks like a depraved black rook. And I've got to say, that page there, that panel, looked absolutely sick. I thought that was a beast-ass page. Loved that. And it's very hinting is that, sounds like Arba will go any round. It could even potentially show that Arba would even fall down into depravity for Solomon. Just about. And it makes me wonder, it's like, why would Arba do that? It's like, Arba seems like she has, like, feelings for Solomon. It shows that, she has sort of some kind of feeling. So I feel like she's trying to do the right thing, but in the end, this is going to make her fall into depravity when she's just doing, all the dirty work and all that. And Sheba's just going to be there, just like enjoying her life being there with Solomon while she's going to be there suffering all on her own. Because suffering can really affect people. It's sort of one of the things that make you fall down into doubt. It's like one of the things that people lose their way is that they have no one there to support them. So it sounds like it's kind of more leading to like Arba being Gyokuen, like mainly just because of this. It could explain it, like her like not having anyone around her. I mean, it was shown as well that Ugo was there as well, so maybe she hooked up with Ugo, but she wasn't happy with that and just jealous. Like it can go either way, but how this chapter ends is like Sheba actually gets up that courage after like promising him, saying we'll be the pillars of support, saying like go out with me now, Solomon. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm just reading my book. He's like talking, and it's like,
let me
yeah,
know what you
and
think in the
in a
comments
down below. But it's like,
it was really interesting, like that
one panel,
down below,
especially with the angel and
watching
as well the demon as well. That just shows like I guess a little hint of what's going to happen more in manga. It was a very dialogue heavy chapter again, and not to mention as well we did have not any like actually we had quite a bit of progression in this one, knowing that we now know what Sheba needs to do. She's got to go because I really appreciated in this chapter when Sheba was saying, I want to do this. It's like, but I don't just love you. I love you are, but I love you. Everyone like in the group like that, and it's like you guys you're everything to me, and it's like saying you're my family, and it's that was really emotional, and even Arma started crying to that. I felt that meant a lot to her, and overall, this was like a solid chapter. If I'm gonna have to give this one a rating, it'd be like a 6.5 to 7. It is a good chapter when you think about all the stuff to all the come. But then as well, there was quite a slow chapter, and it did have just a bit of comedy. And hopefully, we'll see what's going to happen in next week's chapter of Magi. I'm very much looking forward to it. But